It's time now for French Connections, our look at the intricacies of life here in France with Solange Mougin. Solange, this week you're focusing on something that all of us, or almost all of us, carry around, and that's wallets. And specifically, the French wallet.
Yeah, I thought we'd take a look inside the French portefeuille or the French wallet, and specifically what makes that wallet French and how these objects, be it cards or coins, have changed over time. So let's begin with what is perhaps the Frenchiest of French cards, la Carte Vitale. Used in pharmacies, doctors' offices, and hospitals, it permits faster reimbursement of medical expenses. And when it was first rolled out, not everyone was on board.
Sésame vital, comme on disait à l'époque. Son côté sésame ne lui a pas ouvert tout de suite les cabinets médicaux. Nombre de praticiens rechignaient à utiliser cette carte, accusés notamment de trop fliquer la profession.
While the card is now standard in France, the digitalization, of course, comes with some risks. Like on February 1st, 2024, when it was discovered that hackers stole the info of more than 33 million French people.
That's half of the country's population. That's a lot of people. Solange, let's move on to another specifically French document that many people here in France carry around.
The national ID card, la carte d'identité. It was created in 1921 as a means of replacing the need for two witnesses to identify yourself. And it was made mandatory during World War II under Vichy. And it wasn't until 1955 that it became optional. Today, it remains optional. And it was modernized in the 1980s and was praised then for being unforgeable.
Non seulement on va vous plastifier le portrait, mais personne, un voleur entre autres, ne pourrait remplacer votre photo par la sienne. Reste que le passage de l'état civil par l'ordinateur est préoccupant pour les libertés des citoyens.
Well, these modern ID cards didn't end up being that unforgeable, did they?
No, they did not. The boxy cards are indeed forgeable, so ID's got another makeover as the EU was standardizing as well ID cards in 2019. While the bigger cards are still valid for EU travel until 2031, the new credit card size ones, well, they are currently rolling out. They are in French and in English. Now, some did not notice this, but l'Académie Française, the gatekeeper of the French language, well, they did.
La Constitution française dit que le français est la langue de la République. Pourquoi est-ce que la langue française ne suffit plus à définir un français? C'est inacceptable.
Now, qualms about the English language and the English translation aside, many people are happy that these new cards now fit into a standard size two-fold wallet, just like the new driver's licenses, which are slowly replacing the older three-fold pink ones.
Il est un peu en morceaux. Et pourtant, j'ai mis un truc plastifié dessus, mais non, c'est pas très solide.
Vous aurez un peu la nostalgie ou pas de ce document?
Pas du tout.
La photo surtout. J'avais 19 ans. J'étais enceinte même. J'étais enceinte de mon fils.
Let's move on now to the main purpose of a wallet, which is a place to put your money.
Yeah, just like with identity cards, physical money could potentially one day disappear, but we're not there yet. But paying with a CB or carte bancaire, a credit card, has already done this to a degree. The cards were launched in France in 1968, and the chipped card, la carte à puce, which came about in the 1970s, it's actually a French invention. Now, today, credit card payments account for around half of all transactions, but 80% of French people say that being able to pay in cash is still important, even if, in all practicality, many French people don't carry as much cash as they used to.
Quand je fais les courses tout ça, j'ai jamais de liquide sur moi.
Même au marché aux légumes, pour 5 €, je fais une carte.
7,50 avec les petites pièces chaudes, 7,70.
During COVID, for sanitary reasons, many people preferred to pay by card, and this has accelerated a trend of fewer and fewer cash machines in the country. Now, some banks are now joining forces to share the costs of a single ATM machine, and some towns are also helping to install them because with inflation, the use of cash has seen an uptick, in part because it's easier for many people to budget with tangible money.
Quand on retire, on sait ce qu'on dépense, on fait plus attention.
So let's talk about that cash and how it has changed in the last decades.
Yeah, well, obviously today and since January 1st, 2002, we've had euros in our wallets. The drawings of bridges and arches on them is actually expected to change very soon. But now we're used to this euro, and most people no longer convert to and from the franc, which, once a symbol of national pride, well, it first appeared in France in 1360.
À la bataille de Poitiers, ce brave Jean le Bon avait été fait prisonnier par les Anglais. Pour payer sa rançon, on eut l'idée de lancer une nouvelle monnaie. Cette monnaie fut le franc.
Now, prior to being laid to rest by the euro, the franc's final switch was on January 1st, 1960, a move that left many French people at the time perplexed.
Probablement pour que la France se relève. Quand on touchera la paix, ce ne sera pas formidable non plus.
L'espoir d'avoir quelque chose de solide dans la main.
Now, over the centuries, the franc took on many different forms, names, and even values.
Yeah, from the louis d'ors to the franc germinal to the point carré, the franc went through many changes, which brings us to our word du jour. It is a slang term, and it has been used since the 1600s. It is still used today now for euros, and the word is balle, as in t'as deux balles, or do you have 2 euros? It literally means bullets, but also in slang, bucks. And now its origin is debated. It may have come from the reference to metal in weapons, or from ballot, or a packet of money, or from the roundness of the coins. Today, the French coins in our wallets are actually made by the same institution that has minted or frappé coins for centuries. The Monnaie de Paris was founded in 864. It now has the honor of being the world's oldest and still running minting institution.
Wow, look at that. You learn something new every day. Thank you so much. Solange Mougin there with French Connections. And thanks for watching France 24.